guys, how's it going? This is Ryan, the Rigs of Death Metal, and I got a few guests here today. I'll let them go around the table and introduce themselves. Uh, well, Mike, how about we start with you first?
All right, I'm Mike. I play rhythm guitar, Deceptions, out of Western Massachusetts. Been playing guitar for I don't know, 13 plus years now. Um, yeah, and I met Chris through bands back in the day. He hit me up and asked if I wanted to get in with Deceptions. Probably about 2 years ago. He knew me from playing in Pressures On and other bands that went on, and shot me a text, and that's how I joined Deceptions.
Hell yeah.
I'm on there as Mayo. Sorry, I'm gonna jump in front of you. The reason I didn't use my first name is because it's Chris, just like the gear. So
Sure.
I go with the last name, and that's what everyone knows me for. I play guitar, Deceptions, obviously. 25-ish years. I think I got like 2099 is when I started as a kid. Um, Deceptions has just been our project for the last couple of years. The core group of us, minus Mike, he's kind of new to the edition, but the four of us have been doing it since kind of like high school. We've been friends for a long time, so 20 something years, and we gave it a break forever, and then we always had ideas. So finally, we pulled the trigger, and now Mike's part of it. And then I've known Chris since high school time too, so it's kind of how we're all involved.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen Mayo play in probably like 15 different bands over the years. Went from taking pictures to hanging out, and
Yep.
I've been a gear collector for decades. I don't have any local band stuff or anything like that, but obviously I do the profiles with the Kemper, the Neural, some other stuff. But I'm just a slut for gear.
And
With that,
for those unfamiliar, Chris's company is called Amp Guru Profiles. And if you've been on this page for a while, you've definitely heard me playing through them and doing clips for specific packs and feature them a ton in a bunch of different demos. And Chris has been providing the band Deceptions with a bunch of packs, which is why we're all here together, just to kiss ass to Kemper. No, I'm just kidding.
Bend free shit.
Yeah, Kemper, if you hear us, you know what? I'd settle for the level 2 and 3 upgrades to my profile player, the little Kemper player pedal thing. Let me have the rest of the features.
Oh yeah, because you got rid of your full unit and you're just downsized now, right? Like, what did you lose that you feel like you need back?
Um, Honestly, the features that are missing are they weren't really all that super useful. There was like what was it, the studio EQ was kind of cool for shaping like on the fly. Really dialing shit in because I liked it better than like the EQ section of the amp block, right? Like throwing an EQ in post, the cab or whatever, I thought made a bigger difference. Um, Maybe some of like the octave slash harmony stuff was some of like the nicer ones are like kind of buried. The ones that kind of emulate like eventide stuff, they're kind of buried in there. There's something else too. Maybe the doubler. I have to go back and look.
It's crazy because like you can just go buy a Kemper right now used for the same price as one of those units with the upgrades.
Yeah, it's a really dumb model. It's it's microtransaction DLC in gear form, which sad.
Gotcha. It's Fortnite for your guitar.
Mm-hmm.
Really getting more affordable though, which is kind of nice.
Yeah, like on the used market and stuff. Well, actually, they've dropped the price on even new units too, I believe.
Yeah, there was a price drop, and then they put out the new version, which is like barely, I think, anymore.
Yeah,
It's
they're not bad on like Reverb and eBay too. You get lucky, and Mike always finds really good deal on
Killer
stuff.
deals all the time.
Always,
Search on
yeah,
eBay,
I just bought.
Marketplace,
Yeah, always. He's always buying stuff.
Hell
all
yeah.
the time. I mean, you gotta search Marketplace, eBay, every day.
Yep.
I don't know. Even when we play shows, you go to a town. We went to Brooklyn. Search, local. You never know.
Yeah.
Just listed, boom, sold. So it's that.
Well, how did you wind up with the Dillinger cab?
Yeah, weird. Yeah, that's a weird thing. The 6x12 Omega cab that was built for Dillinger. I saw it pop up on eBay, or no, Reverb. Popped up on Reverb. Messaged a guy. I'm like, hey, is this available? I think he was asking like 14 for it, and I ended up snagging it for 12. And then my brother-in-law, his girlfriend lives out in New York, so he picked it up from the guy that was selling it and brought it to me. But and it was built for the band. It was only used for studio recording, no live shows. That's a sick cab though. That's a beast, dude. Omega is like their cabs, even their amps. Their amps are insane. It's unreal. I don't know. Crazy fucking cab. 6x12. I used it at the Tank in Agawam when we played. And all the other guitar players were like, yo, what's under that thing? The covering. And I'm like, yo, it's a 6x12. They're like, a 6x12? No way. I'm like, yeah, wait till you hear it. So it's crazy.
It sounds awesome. It's very loud, which is nice because it like definitely keeps up with bass. Like that's the best part about it.
What speakers are in that 612? Is it like the proprietary like Omega stuff or
I'll tell you in 1 second because I asked Mike Smith, because I was curious as the one I purchased it, if I could get a backstory on it, any history. So I messaged Mike Smith, who's the owner of Omega,
Mhm.
and it's loaded with creambacks and V30s.
Perfect combo.
So
Perfect.
yeah, so that's what he ended up telling me. So I just looked up the message. But yeah, greenbacks and V30s, which it sounds phenomenal.
oh yeah.
The Grandifier Obsidian amps are fucking crazy too. I know Chris has profiled them. They're insane.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely some of my favorites.
Love the Omega stuff. I keep bugging Mike all the time, like, what's the next drop? What's coming out? Like, what are you guys doing? It's just the world sucks right now. Getting stuff for the prices that people used to isn't what happens anymore. Production is a lot harder to manage.
Mhm.
Getting those, bulk orders in and putting the money up front to be able to do a run of amps isn't what it unfortunately used to be even before COVID times. But now with the tariffs, it's like you see which companies are getting their parts from overseas or buying in bulk, pre-populated sort of boards for pedals. And
Yeah.
I know they just moved the Grandifier like over from them custom hand doing everything to pre-populated boards. And I'm not letting my old Grandifier go for nothing. Like they changed the way they made them. I love that thing. They changed the power section, the transformers, and it sucks that there's a necessity nowadays that some of these builders have to think about, how am I getting these parts? What are, the results going to be? Not like it used to be where Mayo over there has like an original 5150 with magic transformers that to them was just accidental back in the day. They didn't think about stuff like that. They just made their deals, got their parts in, threw them in, and over decades, the amp nerds are like, oh, this version of the iron's better. These, capacitors or caps are the best. And now these new builders kind of have to deal with people nitpicking the fine details, really being bougie boutique bullshit at the end of the day. It's hard to put out something, but 5150 made by PV back in America is still one of the best fucking amps.
Yeah, when I bought the new one, the Iconic, obviously there's a huge hype on it, and then they're really not as good as everyone thought they were. And I was excited because Brown, worked with EVH to make it. I'm like, oh, this is gonna be sick. It's gonna be close. It's gonna be the new tone on it. Well, Mike's brother has it now because I was just super disappointed with it. Unfortunately, I tried and tried and tried, and I just like you're right. Like it's just nothing sounds like the OG USA stuff. It's even. A lot of people argue that they're the same amp, and they are. But like the 6505s made in China, I don't think they last and perform as well as the OG ones do. And it's, I don't know, it's just one of those things for me.
Yeah. PV was really good back in the day for over engineering everything.
Yeah.
Like everything was built like a tank. I've got this old PV 212. I don't even remember what model it is. PV Classic something, some weird 212. It's been around since like the 70s, and I need to restore that thing, get it up and running.
The
But
one of the ones with like the carpet on it instead of Tolex.
this one still has Tolex, but like I don't know how to describe the old PV aesthetic where just a lot of black and silver and um like that classic font and everything. I need to throw a picture up of it or something, but
You got the metal grate on the front and everything like that with the
Mhm.
angled PV.
Yep.
Those are the ones that you'd always see like at Daddy's Junkie Music, even when we were kids. They're like $100 that, you just bought them anyways. And then now you never see them and you see them on for sale on Marketplace. And you're like, I kind of just want to buy one just to have one. You know what I mean? Like, that's how
Yeah.
I feel about that stuff.
It's crazy how the cheap gear when we were growing up is now so desired because either people made that genre, that sound off the cheap gear, and you can't necessarily do it with other gear. Like it's a signature. There's like a certain way cheap mids spike and sound live in the room versus this hi-fi sound where like I love every fucking boutique amp I've grabbed, but like live in a mix, a lot of those amps just get buried.
Yeah, you get, if they
And
get
it's no fault, like because they're made to sound a certain way. When you produce and put them on a record, they sound amazing, like layered up with other ones. But unless you're walking in a room with like an old Recto, an old 5150, or a fucking Marshall, you're not standing out.
Yeah, I have that original 5150 angled cab, which I changed the speakers and took the Sheffields out. And I buy those cheap Marshall MG cabs, the MDF ones. They're literally they're you probably don't know if you can see here, but they're so much smaller. Going back to talking about like lighter stuff and smaller things we kind of talked about earlier. It's nice to have them. They're super light for MDF, and I don't know why, but for some reason they sound so good. And I changed the speakers out, of course, obviously, because the factory one's sucking it. But change the speakers to something decent, and that's what we use at practice. Mike uses the angled one, and I use the straight cab. And
Hmm.
they're light, they're easy to move. I like cheap gear. I don't know. I still do. I have some expensive stuff, but I'm still that budget DIY kind of guy.
You got to start trying to find the Mode 4 cabs on deals.
Try.
That's what I got behind me here. The MF 400. Picked it up for $150. It'll never happen again.
The old poor man's Mesa cab.
Yeah, legit. It's about the size of an oversized straight Mesa. I don't know. I love the G12K 100s in it. Like it's kind of like I'm so used to it by now that it kind of ruins a lot of other cabs for me. But
There's just so much raw power.
yeah, and they're so clear, I don't like speakers that add any extra grit or anything at this point,
I feel like that's everyone's gripe with the Sheffields. I mean, I don't mind them just because I've been playing them for so long. But I swapped it to one of my MG cabs, and I mean, Mike plays that angled cab all the time. I feel like when you're using a Kemper too, like it kind of takes away from that because you don't get like the true tone. I feel like, you know what I mean? Like you're getting the digital tone to where you could have the crappiest speakers in it. And if you crank a Kemper enough and get it to work, it still sounds pretty good. You know what I mean?
Watch those MG cabs go up in price now, by the way.
Yeah, that was hard to find.
Start buying.
Yeah.
They are hard to find.
Did
Yeah,
you?
you got that one for a steal too. The second one you grabbed that I've been using, you got that for a good deal.
Yeah, it was like $100, and then I sold the
Nice.
speakers in it for $100, and then I put it's got a B30. Actually, you ever use Eminence Lady Lux?
Never even heard of that one.
They're my buddy Mike, not this Mike Weimer gave them to me, and he was like, just try them, and I put them with two V30s.
Mhm.
And it's got a good tone to it. It's weird, but a little sizzly, but like the tight with the V30,
Mhm.
they kind of pair well together. I think. Like I said, it's also I'm playing through a Kemper, so that could just be why.
That's pretty sick, though. No, I've never even heard of them. I'm about to check
Pretty
that out.
expensive. They're Eminence Lady Lux. I know they're definitely Lady Lux. Let me just double check her.
Okay. Um,
Yep, Eminence Lady Lux.
did you guys ever think that there'd be a time where you would see solid state crate amps going used for over 500, let alone $1,000, by the way.
Dude, Mike has he's got a so my first amp ever was a full stack Ibanez Tone Blaster. And I get excited about this because I kind of wish I still had it. But Tone Blaster speakers, I don't know if you've ever used an Ibanez cab. I used to take
No.
those speakers out of those because those cabs were like throwaway cabs because they were just crap. But the speakers, for some strange reason, they sounded awesome with 5150s. And Mike has a solid state head.
Hmm.
Always like, yo, bring it to practice. Bring it over to practice.
Yeah, you can see it right behind me. It's in the background there. There's the cab, and I got the head right up there. It's the alligator skin version or whatever. My dad bought it
Hell
for
yeah.
me when I was like, I don't know, 12 years old. So
Yeah,
still held on to it, you know.
Got one of those crank cabs underneath it.
Yeah, the crank 4x12 used by DL, Casey Strain and stuff. Then I bought up Brendan for like sold it for like $250. I'm like, snag that up real quick. I saw on Marketplace. So
We're good.
Those were the days. Old bands
Yeah.
that had endorsements that would need money for the road or got new stuff in for free. Like I remember buying Mesa cabs off DL for 400 mint.
Yeah. Remember
Crazy.
like all the ESPs of his that were going around when they first got sponsored? Like we all had his the Viper 1000s or his Eclipses. I still have that
Yeah.
case. Chris gave me a case for my EC 1000 probably 20 years ago. And I don't even know, was that might have been one of DL's or something? You
It
got
probably was his or DePonde's, just because like all those guys like Acacia Strain, Kill Switch, all that remains, they locally either put it up for sale or dump it at Daddy's Junkie or the local guitar centers.
I miss Daddy so much, man.
Yeah. You always have like the kids who work there who kind of like they'd maybe be cool with you and give you a heads up it came in, so like you know to run down there. Or they'd snatch it themselves and be like, "Hey man, if you want to give me like $500," be like, "You just bought that for like 300." They'd be like,
Yeah, that's how I got my Eclipse. Josh worked there back in the day, and he knew that I had an eye out. It was like, remember when EC 1000s were like the guitar to get, and everyone was like, I gotta have one.
back when I had 5.
Yeah, you had 5 of them. And Josh called me. He's at Dad. He's like, hey, this guy literally just got this from musician's friend yesterday, and he hates it. And he's trading it in for Les Paul. And I'm going to lowball the hell out of him. Why don't you come give him $50 more? And I think I got it for like $250, brand new. The day old. Like that's how it worked back in the day. It was awesome.
Now those LTD deluxes are $2,000 from Indonesia if you want one.
I think that's where they were from back then too, right?
Korea usually, I think back then. They bounced around a few places.
Yeah, mine's Korea.
Korea is the premium
fun.
stuff.
What are you playing for guitars these days, Chris? I know you always have quite the selection of stuff that comes in. You're like Daddy's. You're gonna start calling you Daddy's Junkie.
yeah, he is Daddy. Daddy Reardon, baby.
This is the newest one I got. It's a PRS private stock. Killer deal. Got it for like $5,000. Not like 14 they go for now, but that was actually originally ordered like 15 years ago or something like that by my buddy Graham, the Chuggernaut. If you see my videos I post of his,
Oh, yeah. That dude shreds,
dude, he has so much like high-end gear he's gone through, and literally like I saw this post and his fucking name was on the back of it, so I'm like, the light's not gonna catch it. But like, as soon as I saw it, I messaged him. He's like, oh yeah, it's got like a Breaking Benjamin blue finish from the private stock. It's got a 25 point something scale length, so it's like a little longer, but it's not a baritone. I was like, should probably just grab it for the 5. It's still on my credit card, but
Yeah.
other than that,
No
I got
big
like,
deal.
I got like these Mayones fucking guitars.
Those are dope,
Dude.
Those are real dope.
Speaking of like bands like Ghost Inside and all those other like metalcore bands still doing it, like they got me sucked back into like ESP. I was already getting some of the Mayones. I already had like PRS sitting around, but like that's where all my guitars have been reinvested into, those 3 brands.
I tried to branch away from the ESP for a little bit. I think you probably remember. I think when we saw each other at the mall a couple of years, it's probably like 10 years ago now. I tried to get into the Fender thing. And I mean, I have a little Fender hanging behind me here, which I like the Tellys a lot more, but they don't do it for me. So I just keep resorting back to those ESP, and the neck profile, the scaling, that's just my go-to. I only have a couple of guitars, and I'm not like Mike. Mike's got like a million.
I mean, yeah, I'll play the lately I've been playing for shows the Fender Jazzmaster, which I love. I mean, you can't go wrong with the I think it's 8061 EMG combo. Jim Root, great player. Always loved them. The Black Jazzmaster is crazy. Love it. I've also been playing the Devon 7-string Balaguer guitar, the Tataris or whatever. Crazy. Balaguer is hitting it out of the park with their guitars. That 7-string is a beast. His custom pickup in it, love it. But I also love playing Fender. I also picked up the Juggernaut, sold me DL's old Blue Eclipse, which I've used at one or two shows. EC 1000. Can't go wrong. Great guitars too. So
It's crazy he broke so fucking many ESPs and LTDs just by playing and bending and doing neck dive tricks with the headstock. Like, I'm shocked that blue one still is alive.
dude, it plays great, man. I got it straight from him. I didn't even. We go to Black Hole Mikey Flynn up in Westfield, Mass, to get our shit set up. Didn't even have it set up. I think I broke a string when I first got it, and I just restrung it myself and played two shows with it, and it's been phenomenal. And then I switched back to the Jazzmaster, which I love, and then seven. Like I have a bunch of guitars I'll rotate through. They're all set up in drop A, which we playing primarily, but I like rotating guitars. I don't know. I don't have like specific brand, but ESP is great. Fender's great. I love Balaguer's been killing it. I'm looking at another 7-string Balaguer that I'm this close to purchasing. So it's been awesome. I don't know.
You guys got to get a endorsement. Just throw some brands out there.
Remember, what was the name of that endorsement when we were kids?
Halo,
Diablo guitars or Halo guitars?
Halo.
Everybody,
Someone-
oh, we're gonna get endorsed. It took like 8% off, and you still had to spend like $2,000 for a guitar in high school. It's like, yeah, no thanks.
Someone the other day hit me up. They're like, "Oh, this Halo baritone custom shop. I think I might trade like, an ESP deluxe for it." I was like, nah, that Halo custom shop ain't what you think it is. That brand has not aged well by any means.
Nah. I've only, off the top of my head, I can only really think of a couple people I've seen playing them. I know Jeremiah from Demon Hunter plays them still. That's the only big name I can think of.
It's kind of like First Act back in the day. Like they would really make a nice custom shop for a couple of the guys. Like I remember Every Time I Die, Andy playing
Mm-hmm.
those and
Mastodon.
always looked cool, sounded great live. And then you'd see like the ones people were selling on the used market and they were just trash.
Yeah, from Walmart. I think wasn't Walmart carry First Act?
Yeah.
I don't. Yeah. I always used to see them in Walmart hanging up like the Telecaster and like
Yep.
an old like fat body style. Crazy.
It was a weird brand. It's like they had the absolute cheapest starter like kid guitar. And then apparently they had a kind of a cool custom shop.
Yeah,
No
you went
middle
from
ground.
0 to 100. It's like it was.
Yeah.
It was like you got it or you didn't. That was it.
Yeah, very strange business model, which apparently did not pan out too well.
Chris, did you have a BC Rich, the X, back in the day when we were kids?
I had a Warlock way
Yeah.
back. That was my first like
I remember that.
electric that I got. And after that, I switched to an EC 400.
Yep. I remember you ripping that thing. I think we were. Did you go to Fairview?
Yeah.
Sorry. Okay, so it was that. Yeah, it was like music. We had music class together. I think.
Yep, the Warlock I brought into a couple things,
Yeah.
and then I realized this thing sucks to transport. I'm not going to buy a coffin case and bring it to school. I think I did, though. I'm pretty sure I did get a coffin case for it.
Pretty sure you had a costume case.
Yeah,
Warlock, dude.
I did actually, because I used it in an art project years later as a coffin, because I kept the case when I got rid of the guitar. Yeah, I wish BC Rich USA stuff was like still made, still like had that lineage, and like you could go grab them more accessible. Because like I don't know, growing up on Slipknot,
That was it. That was the guitar to have when you were into Slipknot, dude. That was because Slipknot was like that band in middle school that like you went from like listening to what your parents did on the radio to like started to get a little bit rebellious and listening to like Slipknot Mudvayne.
I mean, I went from the Pokemon soundtrack to Slipknot, but
that was like the bridge into the metal that we listen to now. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like, and it was, I don't know, that was good times.
I remember everyone in middle school and early high school being like, "Oh, poser! You just listen to like mainstream. You listen to Slipknot. You listen to Mudvayne," and you're like, "Yeah, but like, it's heavy." And then they'd be like, "No, check this out," and they slide you over like Kill Switch Engage on Ferret, and you're like, "Oh, okay, fuck. Like this is different. Like I'm gonna go."
We were very lucky, as I'm sure he knows about where we're from. But growing up, I mean, we used to go see Kill Switch Engage at a local bar next to us with like 200 people at it. All the Remains is from this area. Shadows Fall, Unearth was close. Like since the flood, like we could always go to these shows. And
we grew up with Acacia Strain.
Acacia Strain at the Munson Pavilion junior year in high school. There's probably, I don't know, 200 people packed out building and get shut down by the state police.
Yeah.
Legia played that show. I mean, that doesn't happen anymore, which is crazy, you know?
Dude, I had my high school art class and DL would come in and play drums on the like, you know, computer table while showing off like Bury Your Dead and Acacia Strain tracks they were writing with, you know, before they even came out. So it was just it was a cool area to be growing up in.
For sure. For a lot of reasons. Yeah. For that we would get good deals on used gear from everybody. That was like we were talking about earlier. It was awesome. It was
Legia coming back from tour with massive bills and buying crankheads for $200. That was fucking sick.
Yeah.
Party too hard on tour. You want this crank for 200? Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I'll take one.
Shout out to Keith Olick. He prints all our merch. Optimistic Prints.
Yep.
Out of Brookfield.
He's on one of our songs on our first EP. It's got that Legia vibe to it, which is awesome and pretty cool, if you ask me.
Yeah, he's got a new band, right? Or is that the same project he's been pushing for a while?
It's Hyena. He's been in that. He's had that for a while now. They don't play a ton of shows, but he's always constantly writing music. Mike's good friends with him.
Yeah, I'm good friends. He's doing more focus on the studio stuff rather than playing live. But I think he just put out, he's got 2 albums out with them right now. I think he's writing more stuff currently. So, still killing it. Yeah.
So, also kind of dawned, I was having such enjoying the conversation so much. I was like, you know what? I would probably ought to ask some questions, huh? So what would you say would be kind of like the core like tone for Deceptions? Chris, I'm pretty sure I can kind of guess what yours might be, but yeah, for each of you guys, what would you say is your with the Kemper you have options, but ultimately, what are you trying to dial in for Deceptions?
We both use one of Chris's packs. Which one do we use, Mike? Is it?
I use the one that Reardon profiled. I use the Wormwood, which is based off the Mesa Rev F. Correct? Correct, Reardon?
That DL owned and used on Wormwood.
Yeah, that's what I used on our new full-length Conflict that just came out on Halloween. Mm-hmm. And that's what I've been playing with live. That's the tone that no matter what guitar I've been using at practice, I've been switching around between profiles. Reardon's profile, the Obsidian, the Granifier. I was messing with them just last week with the guitars, and I'm like, I just gravitate back toward that Mesa Rev F Wormwood profile that he did, and it just sounds phenomenal to me. And that's what I've been using, practicing live shows on the album. That's what I used.
Yeah, that's what I think on the EP. I think that's been his tone. I actually used the same. Originally, my stuff was obviously all the 5150, but once I got the Kemper, I used the same profile, but he made 2 of them. He made a more scooped one. I used the scooped one, and then I edited it more to sound close to my 5150 as my ear could get it to be, and that's what I use for my tone.
Nice. Hell yeah. And let me see, Chris, I'm assuming you're rocking the Eclipse mainly.
Yeah, the Eclipse is my primary. And then I actually brought him out.
You were hiding it.
Yeah, I was hiding it. Alan Ashby from Mice and Men hits his signature guitar. So it's a Telecaster ESP with a single 81. And that's what I did the full-length album on. This thing, I don't know if you ever played one, but if you ever see one, this thing's awesome. I talked earlier about like how I try to get into Fenders. I really like Tellys.
Mhm.
Problem with Fenders was the scale. It's a 24-7.5, which most tellies are 25.5. So it's got like the Gibson bridge, and it's just I'm so used to playing that scale. So I play the both of these primarily. They sound exactly the same. I think the telly might be a little bit thicker just because it's the neck through.
Mhm.
But just those two are my main guitars. I have some other ESPs, a Jackson 7 string and stuff like that, but it's primarily those. I've like I said, I've had that ESP since like 2005.
Do you
Nice.
still have your old Vipers?
Yes, I have a Viper 200 still. I don't have the 1000 anymore. I traded that for a 7 string when I was in Funeral of Fame, and then I ended up trading that in for something else. And then at one point when I stopped playing for a few years, I kind of got rid of almost all my gear except for my guitar. And then I've kind of just recouped all the stuff since I started firing everything back up again. I was on hiatus for a while, remember? Like 4 or 5, maybe 6 years.
All I know is you guys made those 200 level shit LTDs back in the day rip by just putting some EMGs in them right into a 5150.
Yeah, I'm very
Drop a fucking whatever.
I'm very hands-on kind of guy. So I mean, you can go out and buy a $2,000 guitar and sound awesome. That's fine, but that's never been my budget. So I always get the cheaper stuff and upgrade a few things to get my own tone and make it playable and stuff like that. And it's just kind of how I've always been. I love cheap guitars. You get more of them. That's just my opinion. But a cheap guitar now is like $700.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
that's like entry level nowadays. You know, it's crazy.
Yeah.
The way it's changed in prices.
Mike has this Hello Kitty.
Those are muddy.
Dude, it's a Squire body with like a custom neck. The thing rips. It's a Squire. It's incredible. Like they've come a long way too. I will say.
Was that from the dude from Highwind who was selling?
Yeah,
that?
he owns Highwind Amplification. I came across it on Facebook. He was selling some gear, and I'm like, all right, sweet. The main selling point on why I bought it is because it had the Radical Instruments neck on it, custom, and it was
Oh, shit.
28.5 inch.
Ryan's
neck.
eyes are huge right
Yeah.
now that he
So-
loves Radical.
I do.
So, and I've never played the Radical. I've always been a huge fan. Brent, that you've interviewed from Gore, huge fan of
Yeah.
his. I got some Gore costumes behind me. He had 2 custom RIPs built for him right before he left the band, and I saw those, and I was like, "Holy fuck!" The Star Destroyers that dude's making are insane. So as soon as I saw this go up on Marketplace and had the RIP neck, I'm like, I gotta score that. So messaged him, boom, he shipped it out. It's got a custom Fishman in it, kill switch Fishman that's painted white from the in-house. Ken Susi hooked it up. Crazy thing, sounds phenomenal. I've only played it at practice. I haven't used it live yet. I might pull it out one show and see, but it's a crazy guitar. You know.
Look, yeah, Star Destroyer would be a good companion, by the way, for your Tartarus.
Dude, that's on my bucket list of guitars. The Star Destroyer from him, from RIP. The blood red ones look sick. I'm just like, I need to have one. So that's on the list. That's one that's gonna be coming.
Hell yeah.
You got to get that endorsement.
I know, either it's him, Balaguer. I also own a what I recorded on the full length album was a T.W. Smith Thalia, which is modeled after the Telecaster. Tom Smith Sr., his son played in the Casey strain for, I don't know, 6, 7, 8 years. He's a custom builder. Loved his woodwork. And then I scored the Thalia off earlier this year. It was at NAM, I think 2 years ago. Just the Hello Kitty guitar I scored was at NAM this past year. But the T.W. Smith Thalia, it's loaded. What has it got in it? It's got the hip shot, the bare knuckle Blackhawk pickup setup. Crazy. That's what we used to record my parts on the full length. Insane.
Sick guitar.
Never got to try the Blackhawks. Everybody, they're kind of advertised, I guess, sort of be like one of many brands that tries to advertise, oh, they're passive pickups that can do kind of like the active thing without a battery.
Because they got that blade magnet just like throwing fire.
Is it somewhat close to the claim, or is it just more of its own thing?
That's the first guitar, honestly, with Blackhawk bare knuckles I own. You know, I'm more so an EMG guy, and a lot of my guitars, EMG 80, 61s, whatever. That's the first bare knuckle guitar I own with those black. I think it's a. Chris can attest to this. I like the sound that we got from it. Recording, it's heavy, it's thick.
Mhm.
I
I
think
was
it,
impressed with it.
I think it meshes well with an active pickup. You know, like when you you go from playing an active to a passive, you just don't get that compression when you're playing an active one. Like when you go to that like passive, and they try to get them real close, and some of them do. The bare knuckle, it's like right there, but it's hard to explain. Like when you're doing like an augmented ugly chug chord or something, it's like it just doesn't have that like fizz that an active does. Like even when you're
Yeah.
sliding your fingers, it picks up that like fizzy tone. It doesn't have that. It's just almost like it's too clean.
Gotcha.
Makes sense.
Yeah, for sure.
They pick up everything. If you fart too loud, it's on the recording. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I before we started this session, I was tracking some stuff with my Eclipse with EMGs, and I was getting hella noise. Like it was pretty bad. I had to like every time I start, hit the record button, I had to kind of turn in my chair away from the computer. Is
That was like when we were doing the full length when we were recording. Chris was getting crazy noise from his pickups too. Like, remember?
The single coil, I don't know. I don't know. I think it's an 81, but I don't know. It could be an 81X, but that Telecaster, the 81 in that is way hotter than it is in the Eclipse. And
You'll see an X at the end, like it'll be 81. Like the EMG X actually has an X at the end.
Yeah, but it's not. It's an 81. But for some, maybe because it's newer, I'm thinking it's a lot with the neck through and the wood design of that. That's solid mahogany. But that thing was noisy. We had to run a bunch of foam through all the strings, and same thing with the bridge. And then I ran a fret wrap, and
Yeah.
we were able to tone it down with the noise gate and stuff. But it was just like we couldn't figure it out. It was annoying.
gotcha.
We got
Yeah.
it work.
Yeah, and you'll try to do like ground lift and all that kind of stuff to fix it. And sometimes it's just some kind of weird audio gremlin that's not going to go away. You just gotta cope.
And we battled that. Like, I don't know. That was like a half. It was a while to try and figure out what was going on and
Yeah.
what was causing it.
Yeah, I think essentially we narrowed it down to it was the nut. It's not a bone nut. It's like a plastic nut, so it had maybe just a little bit of leeway in it or something. But I brought it. That's the best part about going to Black Hole, man. Mikey just takes care of you, man. You got it in there, boom, boom, boom. He figured it out in about 2 seconds, and then we were back recording. It sucked because I think we wasted like 2 days of tracking just because like you couldn't hear it when I was playing, but you could hear it on the recording.
Mm.
And we'd done like 2 or 3 songs, and it was just like,
Gotcha.
That's another cool thing about like this area. Probably like say a lot more about Mikey specifically, but like there's so many techs out here who have like maybe not advertised or actively worked, but like they used to work with a lot of big bands like a decade ago, 2 decades ago. So like I know certain people I will bring certain types of amps to because they worked with all the bigger bands out here forever ago. Or Mikey went on tour with a lot of bands and he was like doing their guitar stuff. And with that kind of like pedigree and knowledge with some of these guys, you're spoiled that you can just get in your car, drive and drop something off that's going to get like pro level attention. It's not like we have to go to a Guitar Center and whatever schmuck they hired in is like, oh yeah, like your actions like a little fucked, man. Like let me kind of look at this thing. Pick it up in 2 weeks, and you grab it and like the actions fucked up the ass, and like you go to these guys who know what they're doing, and you're like, oh, I didn't know a guitar could play like this.
dude, that is 100%. So we used to do it all ourselves. Me, the guy I was in the band before, Doofy, we used to do all our setups. We're in there trying to drill out tuners to get the 70 gauge strings to fit.
I still do that shit.
Bring on the nut, you're going like this to wear down. It was like you just threw it together and you didn't really intonate or whatever. You tuned it, and then you go to Black Hole. It was the first time I went there. It was probably like 2021 or 2022. And I remembered Mikey Flynn when he played in Death Threat and he was doing his other little his bands and stuff. So I was familiar with him. And then once I got it back, it was like night and day. I was like, oh, this is what playing a professionally set up guitar feels like. And I don't even change my own strings anymore, dude. I just go there. It's like I just go to him. Like, I'm going Wednesday. He's appointment now, and only now I think. And but either way, I'm going Wednesday to drop off the Eclipse. I need some dispersals are pretty worn out, so I need some new tuners for it and get my strings changed.
Hell yeah. Um, so, oh, there was one. I was about to ask the next question, but there was something I wanted to touch on. Um, Mike, you said on the Tartarus that you've got like the new like Balaguer cauterizer pickup in there. Did you ever get to try the cauterizer when it was made by uh, you know, the prior brand?
No, I didn't even realize it was made by a prior brand, to be honestly. I got the Tataris and I was just like, I don't know, blown away by the body shape. I like weird shapes, extreme body shapes, guitars.
Yeah.
That was the first 7 string I've ever bought. And I got it probably, I want to say 6 months before I joined Deceptions. And then Chris hit me up, and I'm like, all right, boom. I took it to the first practice, and I remember just playing it. And they were like, what the fuck is that? You know, the pickup, the cauterizer is amazing, dude.
Yeah.
That pickup is insane. I love using that guitar when we play live. Just the tone, even with the same Kemper profile from that Mesa from Wormwood,
Mhm.
it just cuts. I don't
Yeah.
know. It's insane. No, I didn't even know it was made by somebody else prior.
Yeah, it was Devin was working with Guitar Murray, and I guess that guy pulled a bunch of shady shit or something. So Devin just kind of took the, I guess like the recipe you could call it for that pickup and took it with him when he went to go work with Balaguer, and yeah, they started putting out their own version of it. I have whenever Devin left Guitar Murray, he was selling off the pickups that he had left on hand. So I bought the 1 7 string one that he had, I think for like 75 bucks or something, like real cheap. And it's still in my 7 string upstairs and it's awesome. It replaced the Nazgul that I had in there.
Yep. Seymour.
Yeah.
Yep.
Which I talked with Devin about it. I guess he loved the Nazgul, but he hated like that nasally kind of mid range that they had. So it was kind of was like that was like the foundation that he, made the cauterizer from, like get rid of that nasally, shitty slash kind of mid range and just leave just the nastiness of the Nazgul. But yeah, I'd love to AB it if I could get Balaguer, pay attention to us. Send us stuff.
Send free shit.
Yeah. Free shit's always good, but Balaguer is killing it, man.
We can
Hell
get an
yeah.
endorsement from that fucking asshole from Amp Gurus, you know?
Man, I'll hit people up and be like, yo, I'm going to record some demos and I'd love to not just show off guitars I've spent a bunch of money on. Like, work with me here. Like, let me show your shit off. Like, send something down to check out. Fucking give me a deal. Like, nah.
Dude, like, and Chris, you can speak, you know about this. Hooking people up with digital goods is not as daunting of a financial task as,
I love it. It's so easy.
it's like I don't expect, like my channel's not that big. I don't expect, Jackson to send me out a USA model or whatever. Like that's fine.
I mean, their USAs are getting pretty affordable. They could definitely send you one out.
Yeah, they could, but whatever. But like you can't even send me a JS. Like really? Like just leave me on read. But like digital goods, digital stuff, it's simple, right? Like I've had plenty of companies hook me up with like a plug-in or whatever, and like it's as easy of a commercial that you could come up with,
Yeah, I mean, you have no finite limit to really what you're doing other than it used to suck manually transferring everything on the neural one at a time, but they fixed that.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, you got a bulk function now where you can just go in, click bulk, type in like a keyword for like the profiles if you name them in a certain way and they're all under one like pretext. you'll get, like Recto, you'll get all your Recto stuff, click through it, hit any amount of names you want to send it to after that, pretty much. And you can batch send. So like, since they've done the batch, I'm way more open to working with neural people. Before people be like, yeah, send me this, that. I'm like, that's gonna be like my whole fucking afternoon off, manually clicking one at a time to send you these. I will send you a couple. But Kemper, I'd be like, oh, you want like 20 different amp packs? Drag and drop, click, gone. It's out the door, done. I don't give a fuck,
Yeah.
Well, I give a fuck. I'm not gonna give free shit away for no reason, but
So what you're saying
Yeah.
is
So
I
what
need
you're
to
saying-
switch over to Nano, the Nano Cortex or whatever.
oh, it's super easy now. Yeah.
Honestly, I'm not really convinced if that's any better than the Kemper player, but
What I
Good to know.
will say is when I'm profiling on a Kemper, and I don't know how much anyone is going to care about this topic, but its brain like breaks if you have too much gain or too much of certain frequencies. So like a lot of like, that Forden sort of higher end Changi chug to the sound, it interprets that as like a higher level of gain. And it may just say like too much gain, I'm not fucking doing it. And you take that same amp setting and add even more gain and you go over to the neural, champ fucking handles it. So you can get like way more gain level and saturation out of the amp and into a neural. But the Kemper's weird because like you've obviously played the shit, it's high gain. I'll dial the gain back and it interprets sometimes like a pedal that's boosting it as a way louder gain stage than it should. So the amp has to be dialed back more. In the room, it's not as gained out, but then when you go listen and play back, it's got all the gain on tap. It's weird. Like I'm hoping with the Kemper new technology, because they're going to release new stuff for at least Liquid 2.0, I think is what they're calling it. And then maybe they'll just make a 2.0 in general. But like, I enjoy profiling way more on the neural, to be honest, because it just handles whatever sounds sick in the room and you throw at it. So a lot of times I have to start with the Kemper, find what the acceptable level of gain is, go through everything, and then I redo it on the neural and just slightly sometimes bump it a little bit more. Because I know it will not give me an error and it will let me be as much of an asshole as I want to be with the gain level and the frequencies. And sometimes that's a bad thing. So like the Kemper sometimes is annoying, but sometimes it's dialing you back. It's just a little bit of a difference between the two.
So basically, in a nutshell, quad cortex, neural stuff, whatever, maybe a little bit more efficient. Maybe the technology is like what, 10 years newer?
Yeah, and you don't have to sit there and refine a
Yeah.
neural profile. Like it just does it, runs through, makes it. Kemper, you have to, I mean, you don't have to, but you should sit here and you should, like I will grab my guitar and play the most dissonant, disgusting, stupid fucking riffs, and I will let them ring out and I will make the dumbest harmonic noises. And I've always done that for years. So when guys play gross, disgusting, stupid, low tune shit on my profiles, that info is in there. It's not in there with like, some boomer who's putting his Les Paul in the chain with like fucking passive pickups. I'm always using like EMGs. So they're compressing and adding in a little bit of like that sheen and shine also when you're refining in that signal chain.
Gotcha.
So there's little differences to both. I think a lot of people can hang themselves very easily and fuck up making a Kemper profile. But if you go to a neural, it'll handle a lot more and give you better, easier results.
Yeah. Does the Nano Cortex, it doesn't do capturing at all, does it?
It does.
Does it? Okay.
You can't do it all from the unit. You have to have like a phone or like I think maybe even an iPad will work, but you have to have like another device to run it.
Can you still do
But you
pedal
can hook it up.
captures?
So this is where there's disconnect. I think it can capture pedals, but you can't run like a pedal and an amp block in the Nano. They have to be like merged together and captured together for the Nano to handle it because their presets are limited. They don't have as much like DSP and handling power. So like I could, profile 30 different, I have profiled 30 different pedals. And then you take that block and you add it in front of an unboosted, amp that could be anything at any point you do. You obviously can't do that with Kemper at all. Like that is just not happening. I think there's rumors they're trying to get that stuff to happen at some point, but it's still not really talked about.
Sure.
But yeah, the Nano is amazing if you have good pre-boosted profiles. If you're the type of person who wants to like kind of have an open sandbox and take a bunch of unboosted stuff and drop in boost captures, you just can't do that unless they patched it. Like that was the biggest gripe everyone had with that Nano was like, okay, so I have to use the baked in, chain of everything. I can't just build it digitally component by component. And I think also there's benefits and negatives to that. When you capture everything in a chain in the room, how it all sounds together, and dial them into each other. That's not how it works when you're doing building block style. Like you don't know if that pedal, that capture is meant to be with that version and snapshot of the amp. You don't know if like the way those frequencies are interacting with each other are true to form necessarily. But sometimes they're not and they sound great, and sometimes they are and they don't sound great. That's why I've always just baked in the boost, given some, ample options for people who want to use like an external pedal, and they're free to do that with anything like the packs I do mostly. But these computer brains condense and interpret all the things in that chain in their own way. And sometimes they merge them in ways that are accurate in the room, and sometimes they're not. Like sometimes you just make things that sound super fucking sick and mean, and in the room they didn't sound that way. Like the gain comes out like way different, or the frequencies change when you do the captures.
Gotcha. Almost said Chris again. I guess I see the value of the last name thing now. So Mayo, have you ever tried messing with any captures or anything yourself? You're like brand new to it. You're just
Yeah. So the guy I got, my friend Mike, he was in one of my really good friends. I got the Kemper from him. He does captures, and so we profiled my 6505 mini head, and then we did a bunch of captures with his amps that I wanted. We tried to do, and listening to what Chris just said makes a lot of sense. We tried to do my block letter, and it captured it, but when you played it, it just sounded so muffled, and when you turned it up, it got like more compressed and more gainy. It's probably because we were trying to record it with normal gain on it, and that makes sense the way Chris explained it. This is also why I've been slacking, but I need to get it over to Chris. I've never really done any of that stuff, so it was kind of nice to hear him talk about it. Or I just grabbed the packs from him when I play, but no, never done any of that stuff really.
Yeah, everyone, don't try to do this yourself. It sucks. You'll lose your mind when it's not doing it. Just pay me $30.
I bought in so many packs off Chris, not to cut you off. I bought I first got my Kemper, I don't know, it was maybe 3-4 years ago. Neil Westfall from My Day to Remember was selling a Kemper off Reverb. Right before that, I bought one off eBay, a powered rack for like $750, $800. I'm like, sweet, score. And I think the seller, they had like 10 reviews on eBay. I think they didn't want to sell it for that much. They never shipped it. So I was like, what the hell? So then I go on Reverb. Neil Westfall, A Day to Remember, was switching over from Kemper, I think to Quad Cortex at the time, 2022, 23. And I ended up snagging one of Neil's backups, the B backup or whatever it is. And that's what I first started using. Now I got 2 powered Kempers. I just bought another one with a road case and a whole setup. So that's what I'm running right now.
Mike, have you ever tried profiling anything yourself?
No, I can't say I have. No. So when I bought it, I already knew Reardon was doing the captures and making profiles. And I just hit him up and I was like, yo, what's good? And that's how that started.
Yeah, I think Chris was the one that kind of helped talk me into jumping from I had a tube head for like ever, and it was like my main thing. But I was finally getting coaxed into jumping to digital because I had like the HX Stomp from Line 6 and really impressed. I'm like, I bet the Kemper shit sounds even better, you know? And I like the idea of like unique profiles as opposed to stock sounds that anybody that buys that unit would have, right?
I used to have a Line 6. I think it's over here somewhere on the ground, still in the box. But the Line 6 Pod XT Live,
Oh
and that
yeah.
came out stock with like the 100 profiles, and you like click through. I mean, it wasn't bad for back then. I
Mhm.
mean, it's 2025 now, almost 26. So the technology has vastly improved for beginner players. Back when we first started, you didn't have the Kemper, the Quad Cortex,
Yeah.
just modeling all these amps. Like the tones from the Line 6 Pod, they're all right. They're decent beginner tones, but you
Mhm.
gotta like tweak the hell out of them to get what you really
Sure.
want. I feel.
The funny thing is, I was an early adopter of digital. Um, I had like one of those Digitech like RP whatever floor units, and I would put the headphones on late at night, and then like during the day I'd run that into a PV Rage combo, and that was just like as a young teen how I started. But like I somehow missed that boomer mentality of like only real stuff. It has to be real. Like I was always like, dude, pay a couple $100, you get this floor unit, you plug some headphones in. Like I'm not waking people up. I'm getting to play whenever I want. I'm listening to a song on the radio back then, or maybe Napster, you downloaded it. But like I'm listening. I'm like, oh, that fucking effect's cool. Like, what the hell is Disturbed doing there? And you dial in some weird things because you don't own all those weird pedals. And I've never been a pedal guy other than boosting. As archaic and primitive as that sounds, but like I love getting like one single unit that just has all these plethora of options that you can mix and match and blend together. Like
Yeah.
I kind of wish I still had a fractal just for the effects. Like I keep
Sure.
holding off because I want the new fractal to come out. I don't want to be one of the guys who drops like $2,000 and then they're like, oh, fractal FX 4. Sorry, you just bought at the tail end.
Yeah.
But I mean, I've messed with the floor units, the FM9, the 3, I think it was 3 and 9, the Fractal 3 Axe effects. Like you could just get lost for hours experimenting with those tones in a way that real pedals and setting things up doesn't allow. Like it's just so freeing to click some things around, merge some stuff. But at the same time, like I do value a tube amp. I do, value a real boost pedal and all these things. It's just I think we came up at our age, for me at least, being able to experience all of it on kind of like an equal-ish sort of reign in the industry. Nowadays, so many people are pushed to digital and computer plugins. Before us, everyone was pushed to just modelers weren't really a thing. Digital stuff really wasn't a thing. You had to have the real shit. So like I think we just probably grew up with different ways of seeing the gear, understanding the gear, and then now seeing someone like Mayo finally adopt a Kemper.
There was a
Yeah.
time when I was digital for a little while. Remember, I had the rack set up. I think
Yep.
it was
You had the pod, the
Yeah.
red one, right?
I had the Line 6 red pod, but then I also had like a Behringer V something. I think it was.
V amp.
Yeah, the V amp. That was my first experience, and then I had like PV2 power amps was my first experience with it, and I think that was where, in my mind, I was like, I'm never going digital ever again. Is because it was okay for what it was, but it just didn't have the grunt that tube amp did, and then
Mhm.
and I'm kind of like you. I was coerced by Chris and people to get one.
I'll throw this anecdote and then I had another question, but the one time I ever tried to do a profile, and I even had Chris, I even had Jason Baker help me. Um we tried running that Does It Doom saw pedal into his. I think
As
he
soon
got a
as
si-
you say Doom HM2
yeah.
fuzz, Kemper's checking mentally out 90% of the time.
Yeah, we ran into his PV. I can't remember if it was a JSX or a 6505. I don't remember what he had, but um and you've sent me profiles that have like HM2-ish pedals in it, and like it's not that they sound bad, but it doesn't sound like what they're supposed to sound like. Like
Right.
the Kemper just can't do it. I'm convinced. No fuzz and no HM2. It's just
Yeah. I mean, as much as our mutual buddy Joe, Void Lone Wolf Audio, harps on it, he is right that there are definitely certain sound frequencies and signatures that they're not meant by these, digital things to be reproduced. Their limited algorithms aren't thinking in the way of a fucking HM2. They're not thinking in the way of even Boss death metal distortion pedal.
yeah.
Like you can get approximate and you've had stuff I've sent you like where there's approximations, you can dial it back, you can play with how that EQ sits to make it sound more realistic.
Mm-hmm.
But it's never that Swedish death metal chainsaw cheap,
Yeah.
gnarly solid state sound, even though it's a solid state device. It's just there's something like in those algorithms that's not meant to exist.
Right.
They just didn't think about them.
Yeah. Now running into like the input of a Kemper, like you can dial in your shit that way if you have like running an external pedal in, but yeah, no, forget capturing it. I don't know if Neural does any better.
No, I mean, a little better. They
Yeah.
originally had said at launch, like, oh, we can actually do fuzz. Because Kemper also suffered with pure like fuzz sounds.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a little better, but it has to be like a blended fuzzy distortion tone. It can't be like pure, gross, fuzzed out, like
Yeah.
Doom stuff.
I've noticed the guys that have like some of the more like progressive guys or guys that do a lot of like wide range of sounds, if they have like quad cortex or whatever modeler on their board, you'll still see them with odd and end pedals, like some kind of weird Strymon or like something really, yeah.
I mean, this pedal, you see a lot of quad cortex guys running it now because the
Sure.
quad cortex cannot capture what this thing does. The Cathedral from Spline Laboratories, like sick. It's a fucking sick pedal.
Hell yeah.
There's a couple other ones that like, I use and try to put in there, but like they just don't work that way.
Big fan of that Hellmouth pedal you use, Chris. That one's
Yeah, I got that in the floor right now. That's always
pedal.
on the floor, like in the chain for when I personally play. Like that's my favorite.
That's what I used on the first EP was the Helmet profile you used. It's so dark, but it sounds so, I don't know. I just like it.
Yeah, I mean, let me see if I can grab this over here.
Uh,
I actually lucked out and I got one of the originals. Like I think this is serial number 7. And they're not made this way anymore. Abominable Effects does them. He added a clean sort of blend knob to it, which I don't personally think, unless you're a bassist, you should give a shit about on a Tube Screamer. But, like those old ones, like I've hunted for them. I have 3 of them right now because if one goes down, I want a backup or 2 still.
I wanted to ask Chris and Mike, I want to ask you guys what your songwriting process for Deceptions actually looks like. Is it just one guy bringing a bunch of riffs to the band rehearsal and everybody just kind of playing along? Is it start at the band rehearsal collaboratively, or what's it look like?
I'll let Mike take the run on that one. He's gonna.
Yeah. When I first joined, Chris hit me up. I came to practice, only knew Chris, didn't know Mikey, Hector, or Kyle from the get-go. They were like, hey, this is what we got. They I think they had 2 songs written. I think it was Echoes of Regret. What's the second one, Chris? You had like 2 written.
Reflections and Echoes of Regret were written.
So they had two songs. Those are the two songs they had written. And they're like, "Oh, what do you think?" I'm like, "No, I dig it." We jammed the songs, whatever. The rest of that EP, I feel like, came from just jamming in Chris's basement, where he is now at his house. Came from jamming, Chris writing riffs. The full length, I feel, was a lot of just collaborative. What does Hector think? What does Kyle think? Someone will bring a riff in and play the riff, whether say, yeah, that's sick, or it needs this, or it needs a double chug here, or tweak the riff. I feel it's a big collaborative. I feel since the EP to the full length, we've progressed in a writing style that's more grown, if that makes sense. I feel as everyone coming together, whether it be this person or practice space, we'll just jam sometimes and something will come out. We're like, ooh, that sounds good. Luckily now you got the iPhone where you can record. We record riffs if Kyle's drumming or Chris, or we're all just jamming, get riffs on a phone so we can come back to it, which is great nowadays.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
But I feel that's how a lot of the writing has been going. I don't know if Chris wants to elaborate off that.
yeah. I'm kind of a I get home from work kind of guy, and I shred, just play for not shred, but jam for a while, and I just try to come up with riffs and just have stuff in on the back burner just to work off of. And for the longest time, so like I said earlier when we started the band, Kyle and I have been doing this. We were in 2002 or three. We were in high school, so we kind of vibe off each other. So there's a lot of times, and Kyle, he used to live close to me. He just moved away, but there'd be days where there would be nobody around. Mike would be at work and stuff, and I'd have a riff or something like, "Yo, come over now, Kyle, because we're gonna make this a song." Sometimes songs would just fly out that way. And like Mike said, this full length, I don't want to take any credit because it's definitely like he said. The full length was more of a collab of what we thought. But I do come up with a lot of the riffs, but I always look for Mike's input and Hector's input on how we should change it, how we should we should palm mute this part, we should ring this part out, we should do, single string stuff or whatever, that kind of input, which was kind of nice. And if you've listened to the full length, you'll also hear on it, there's some reggaeton stuff in there because Mike and Hector, both Puerto Rican guys, so they're like, yo, let's put some of that stuff in there. So we got some Spanish in there, some reggaeton in there. We kind of we don't have a particular type of music we write. I'm still stuck in the mid 2000s metalcore for this area. So I just write stuff. I don't know, have a couple beers and just hit record on the phone. Same thing with Mike. We kind of just bounce ideas back and forth with each other. And it's nice to, like he said, this full length, we've all collabed and we've all had input, the four of us music wise. Mike, a singer, typical singer. I don't mean to be mean, but typical singer.
I from what I've got to hear, I listened to a few songs kind of, getting ready for this. And yeah, it kind of sounds like, well, for one, you can definitely tell the era and region that you guys probably came up in. Because it evokes a lot of different kind of bands from that scene and that time period, without actually sounding completely like derivative of anybody in particular. You know what I mean? Um, but yeah, there were some like cool, catchy kind of metalcore parts, and then there were almost borderline death metal slamming kind of breakdown riffs and everything in between. I grew up with a lot of hardcore and listened to a lot of the same bands that you guys have mentioned. Acacia Strain, I think I have a flag somewhere, like that was my band forever. So definitely love the breakdown, but a lot of bands have abused very boring breakdowns to where I've become kind of like uh kind of a snob with breakdowns. And I was listening to your alls. I'm like, okay, I can actually fuck with this. This is cool. So congrats for writing non-boring breakdowns.
Yeah, I'm really big. So before this, I went on like hiatus from like writing in a band and stuff. I was in a band called Funeral and Fame.
Mm-hmm.
I was in that for I don't know, probably like 6, 8 years, and that was the band that I joined after I was playing with Kyle, Hector, and Mike when we were younger.
Well, also, Funeral and Fame is technically kind of like that band that came up side by side when we were younger with Acacia.
Hmm.
So, like, that's why you're probably feeling that vibe, is because, like, he played in one of those bands in that style as Acacia was, like, bubbling up. I remember the old story was before Scott Lee signed Acacia Strain, he was trying to sign Funeral and Fame to do stuff. And their members weren't as serious, and it
Yeah.
transition to Acacia Strain, getting like that push and going into Zing Studio and developing a sound with Adam D. But like Mayo for years played in that band that was like the early contemporaries and like playing the shows with Acacia Strain and coming up like that style, that sound, and like obviously mutual friendships and stuff like that between the members of bands and stuff.
Playing with them, like so I talked about I'm stuck in that like mid 2000s metalcore. So like As I Lay Dying is like one of my favorite bands. Granted, whatever's going on with them, and like It Dies Today is my like all time favorite metalcore band. So I took like if you hear a couple of the new songs, there's like that typical fast paced metalcore riffs that you're just using single strings, and then like going into being influenced by the Acacia Strain, but playing in Funeral and Fame with the guy that plays bass, who wrote most of the stuff. His name was Doofy, and Nick Seacard, who played guitar. They were like they branched away from what we were doing in Western Mass with that like augmented chuggy breakdown stuff, and then we kind of went like southern rocky groove metal for a little while. And so like I really took to that. So there's like a couple of riffs that you hear that have like that like groove that you just kind of like want to go like this to, and that's
Mhm.
kind of like where my writing has changed into. It's like metalcore breakdowns, but like groovy metal too. It's
Yeah.
my friend Sean hit it like big. He's like, if you were trying to be Bury or Dead for Cover Your Tracks meets today's like your old stuff, and today it's like you guys nailed it. It's almost kind of like that's like what we're influenced by, if that makes sense.
For sure. Um, One thing, I think this might be kind of like what Mike was referring to by mature songwriting. Um, a lot of bands back then, especially if they had a fairly broad sound, which I think you guys do. Um, a lot of those bands, even early Acacia Strain and early like After the Burial, well, that's a little later, but you get what I'm saying. Where a lot of the songs could be almost a little disjointed. Like it was definitely a lot more like riff soup going around and very abrupt changes. The songs didn't necessarily have like a flow. It was just hard cut. All right, now on to this riff. Um your guys' songs definitely have much more of a flow. Is that for you guys, is it more of a natural, you're just kind of writing the song in like a linear fashion, or is it an intentional kind of thing? Like,
I'll let Mike on that one first.
sure.
Um, to touch on that, I think going from the full length to the EP, Chris, we had a lot of stuff written back in the hopper from the EP. The EP was released, what was it, July of 24. So it was released last summer. And then while that was put out, Chris already had a lot of riffs on the back burner ready to fucking go. So while the EP came out, what did we have? I don't know, 3 or 4 almost full songs, give or take, like ready to go. Like just like, and Chris wrote a lot of those and then brought those to the table. And while that was put out, we worked on all the songs
Mhm.
and made it what it was. Um, and it's funny you mentioned the riff soup. I feel Deceptions, we're trying to go for like, I don't know, Western mosh, whatever, Western Mass mosh. We have the meats, baby. But just like a old school Bury Your Dead, like in your face, mosh band, metal, have fun. We're not trying to go for the super tough guy terror, hardcore, or the super death metal. Bring it all together, and that's what we have. I mean, I feel we have a riff or a song, whether you're into metal, death metal, hardcore, whatever it may be. I feel it all kind of
Mhm.
blends together, just to you know. Um, and then I feel that just comes from all the influences
Yeah.
that we've.
when Kyle and Hector and Mike and we were in a band after high school. It was called the Myths of War, and it was literally like cut and paste As I Lay Dying kind of music. It was just that typical metalcore from '05. That's when we were kids. And the stuff we wrote then had a couple of songs that flowed, but like you said, it was all of our stuff was kind of like riff soup, riff salad. It was never, it didn't really flow. And I think that going to play in Funeral and Fame, and then I was in another band called Harbor, which was actual a hardcore band, and yeah, that was the guitar player in that band was the guy I got my Kemper from. So kind of playing in a band with other guys that have different styles and different ways of writing has helped me progress to get like, okay, you want flows, like you're like, all right, this is a fast paced part. All right, now it should go into a breakdown. This is just always having crazy like metal stuff, and it's just it's helped me progress in writing music for sure. And Kyle playing drums too, like he went on a hiatus for a while when he was doing stuff, and then him coming back too, and kind of just our different outlook, maybe that we've matured a little bit. We've listened to more music, and like you said, that era was riff soup. So it was kind of like you were trying to replicate what you were growing up listening to, and now we've kind of branched away, and it's just helped us mature, I think.
Oh yeah. And I'll also kind of add, coming up in the music scene and time that I did, it's refreshing to see a band that's a little bit of a throwback to really what I was listening to in high school the most. And metalcore, it's never gone away, but it definitely looks a lot different now. A lot of the quote unquote hardcore slash metalcore bands now, it's I feel like bands like Knocked Loose and Code Orange Kids or Code Orange, kind of, those are sort of like, it feels like they're the two big names and have kind of gone their own way and setting their own trends. And it's very like new metal and industrial influenced as opposed to like hardcore or, older metal bands or, even death metal, like like Acacia Strain would cite as probably an influence.
I mean, yeah, the scene is weird nowadays because I just saw Slayer, Hershey, Pennsylvania, September 20th. To see Knock Loose play an arena show is wild because about 10 years ago, I just saw him play a parking lot side stage Warped Tour in Hartford, Connecticut. And then me and Reardon were actually just at the same Mudvayne show last Sunday at Mohegan Sun, 25 years of LD50. So to see that new metal still going strong, it was packed arena. But then everyone considers like Knocked Loose hardcore.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, are they hardcore or are they new metalcore? Like people want to throw genres around. Like it's, it's crazy. It's just crazy to see Knocked Loose playing stadiums and then Mudvayne still being Mudvayne. It's just wild.
Yeah, for sure. Or, DL fronting Bad Wolves and doing, huge shows there.
Falling in Reverse.
Oh yeah, and Falling in Reverse.
It's wild. It's crazy.
Dude's headlining festivals in Europe night after night. Just he finally hit his dream. He's a dude who always wanted to be big in music in some way, and like it doesn't matter what that guy plays, he's meant to be on a stage. He's
so talented, that guy, man.
Yeah.
The way he plays, the way he writes, the way his brain functions with music, that dude is, I think he's one of the better ones to ever come out of this area with writing music where we live. He's for a musician, to me, he's one of the dudes I always looked up to with his style of writing and stuff like that. The dude's awesome.
Yeah, and he kills at ghostwriting. There's so many bands that have hits out that nobody knows he touched or worked on in some way. It's funny because like one of my buddies who grew up with the Killswitch crew and taught like lessons at the same place Joel taught lessons at. He was their amp tech for years. His name was also Joel. He knew DL. We all lived kind of in the same like 5-minute span. And he would tell Dan some days like, dude, you are more influential than you realize. Cause like DL for a while wasn't out touring. He wasn't in really any projects. He was sitting at home and kind of piecing things together and behind the scenes. But it was like, there's a generation of guitarists who were influenced by a generation of guitarists that you influenced. They don't know they're influenced by you. Like they have no idea, especially also like the Adam D influence that came out of early Acacia Strain. Like Acacia Strain sounds like Acacia Strain because of Adam D. So like for us to have grown up in an area where like you had bands directly recording with and being molded by Adam D, like all that remains heavily early stuff. Adam D was in the writing process for like This Darkened Heart, you know, in the recording process for all these bands. So like I think we were super spoiled in the sense that like our music scene had these pretty much geniuses touching different parts of bands, production, getting them out there. And you could go to a local show that just was like young kids spitting fire, like throwing crazy riffs, like doing abstract things. Like we were in a scene that just I don't think had really equals, to be honest.
No, we were so spoiled around here. I mean, it would be a Sunday night all ages show. You'd be a
Fat Cats,
at
down,
Fat
down.
Field. You could
Out of
see
street.
blood has been shed, Killswitch Engage, and all the remains for $10. It was insane. And then there'd be shows where Scott would be able to book Bleeding Through, Unearth, and Since the Flood from like it was like these crazy shows. And then you're just a little kid, just a sponge of stuff, just getting these influences and sucking in all this riffage, this tonage, and like it's crazy. We were so like spoiled.
Do you remember August Burns Red was brought on stage to play after they were just done wrapping up recording with Adam D?
Yeah, August
Back at Cabot Street?
Burns Red played at Cabot Street, and in the midst of war, we opened for them that night.
Hell yeah.
Hey, you remember?
20 people. No, it's more than 20 people, but like it was a local bar. It was like a hole in the wall bar that had like maybe a 300 person max cap. You're like, and it was never that little. There was always 500 people stuffed in there. You know what I mean?
We always got those random like, hey, Overcast is gonna or Aftershock's gonna play like a reunion show, and Scott Lee booked it, and it's at this little hole in the wall place where people like, you know, from all over the country, I'm sure would have killed to have been able to go to a show if they knew those bands and grew up like the pre, you know, obviously like metalcore era was those bands, like before they went off to Killswitch and Shadows Fall. And we could just, you know, get in the car, go hang out and be young dickheads listening to crazy music.
So kind of want to go around and ask everybody like what kind of goals do you have for yourself both musically and professionally right now?
I'll let Mike go first.
Goals. So it's weird. I've been playing guitar. I think I messed up at the beginning of the interview. I said I've been playing for like 10 years. I've really been playing since I was like 12 years old. So it's like 20 plus. So I played in a band with my brother. He plays in like a rock ska band right now. And then I did like a hardcore band in 07. And then I didn't play any live music since 07 till I just joined Deceptions. I think 07, whenever I stopped playing live. I'd always be, if you want to consider it, a bedroom guitarist, whatever. I still play. I cover songs. I have a little YouTube channel, like 3,000 subscribers, whatever. I play. Since I joined Deceptions, it's that itch. It's that live show, playing a live show, jamming with people. I just want to say thanks to Chris, playing with him, Kyle, Hector, Mikey, good group of guys. It's something playing live together with a group of guys. Love it. I think we're gaining traction in Western Mass, wherever we played, you know, a couple out of state shows. Our release show's coming up November 21st in Florence, Mass. Wherever it takes me, I'm happy. I'm having fun. I'm playing shows. As a goal, I'm just enjoying the wave right now. I can't complain. The reaction's been good at shows, whether you're moshing, singing along, buying a t-shirt for $10, $15, buying our EP. We had someone buy our EP in Japan and wanted it autographed. I mean, for me, that says a lot from a bunch of nobodies from Western Mass, from where we grew up. I just want to say thank you. Just enjoying the ride, you know. I can't ask for much more than that.
Hell yeah. Thank you, Mike. Chris Maya, how about you, man?
I'm kind of on the same page as him. I don't know if you kind of look through our Instagram and stuff. I haven't really been playing out live with the band. I messed my lower back up, a couple disc issues, so jumping around on stage and doing anything crazy, I haven't really been playing. We had a fill-in guy for us for the first half of shows, and then Mikey's kind of been just single guitar in it for right now. So I've kind of just been like off the scenes in the background. But hopefully, be back out there shortly. And but just like Mike, just having fun. I mean, I'm almost 40. I haven't made it big yet, so I don't have intentions or any high hopes or anything. I just want to hang out with my dudes, write some music. If people enjoy it, they enjoy it. That's really how I look at it. You know what I mean? So I like to just write stuff, and if people like it, they do. If they hate it, they hate it. Negative feedback's good too. So wherever it takes me, it takes me. That's just how I feel.
Oh yeah, I can definitely appreciate that as feels like an over the hill musician myself. Like, you kind of have more realistic expectations and just kind of enjoy what you're doing.
Yeah.
Reardon, we did not forget about you. What what uh what kind of global takeover for Amp Guru profiles do you have planned?
I mean that's it. I just want to take over. Like I think I've gotten pretty lucky as just some dude who grew up going to these cool local shows to then befriending guys in pretty cool bands to then getting industry connections and being a gear whore and putting it to a productive use. I just want to keep doing that. I want to keep making more connections. I want to have like the other day I was talking to Christian Oldswolvers from fucking Fear Factory in Cypress Hill. And he's asking me about like, hey, like what amps are out there that are cool nowadays? Like what should I put in my rig? Like, or get for the studio. And then there's, other days I'm talking to, a dude who's like, hey, like we're putting, stuff together for a video game soundtrack. And I think, your profiles are going to make the final cut for the tones, or I'm pushing for them to be even more. I'm like, oh, that's as a gaming nerd growing up, that's fucking sick.
Right.
And just talking to like, different like in the industry amp builders and pedal builders and kind of bugging them of like, hey, like I got this cool idea because I just played so many things, almost all of it at this point. Like, can you do this offshoot for me, or like combine these ideas, or like I like what you're doing here, but can you do this? Like, as a teenager, I never would have thought that there would be a path for that shit. And obviously, social media, ease of access, getting older and just kind of sticking with something for decades, like it's not what I would have ever expected. So I think like I'm already pretty comfortable with where I've gotten to. So I don't think like there's a drastic change to where I'm going. I just want to keep growing it, like just keep doing more of it. And maybe with the resurgence of new metal, put out a new metal album. I don't know.
And now's as good a time as any.
It is the time.
I got a for you, Ryan.
What is it?
All right, so this is kind of a weird one, maybe, but is there a specific album out there? Because I know you like tones and guitar tones. Is there a specific album that you listen to and you're like, that's my favorite guitar tone? Like that to me, the way that dude recorded it and tuned it and tweaked it, like that to me is like the perfect guitar tone. Do you have an album out there that has that?
It kind of changes around. It's sort of a mood thing for me. Like of all time, there's a couple that come to mind. Uh, Demigod by Behemoth.
Yep.
Pretty sick. If I remember right, I think it's a Mesa Boogie Road King or Roadster blended with a Bogner Uberschall, maybe. It's been a while since I looked at it. That one's pretty sick. Acacia Strain Wormwood would probably be up there too.
Buy the pack.
Yep.
It is good.
Amazing.
Yeah.
That pack is great.
I regret selling that fucking amp. I hope the Chuggernaut gets that back for me at some point so I can do more profiles with it.
Sure. Cannibal Corpse Kill. That's a good one.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
That album is dope.
It just sounds so huge.
I like how you're just naming all these very different sounding sort of things.
I'm the same way. So to a T. Like I agree with him on the Acacia, and I like the Dead Walk for guitar tone is like one of my favorites of all time. But then I also go to a completely different spectrum. Is I really like Clayman by In Flames. Like their
Yeah,
guitar on that is like incredible.
for sure. Um, on that note, Every Time I Die, X Lives is a really cool one. Like,
Oh my God. Every time I die, I feel I think some of our earlier stuff and some of the new stuff is influenced by Every Time I Die, Andy Williams.
mhm.
He's a riff god,
Oh yeah,
his riffs are like RIP Every Time I Die, but Jesus Christ, man, Andy Williams is amazing.
Yeah.
for
He's
sure.
coming out with the Atomic Rule, right? That's the new one.
Hmm.
Yeah, they got a show in Connecticut. I think it's in coming up in December, Hamden Ballroom.
Do they have like actual recordings with the singer finally, or not yet?
Yeah, it's a three song little EP or little demo they put out.
Okay, I missed that. Then I got to check that out when we get off here. Always been a huge fan of Andy. I caught up with him after an ETID show one time, and just the nicest fucking dude.
Do you
Yeah.
follow his wrestling career?
Of fucking course I did.
I met him out. Yeah,
Yeah.
I met him outside AEW. They played the Songus, wrestled at the Songus Arena. I met him backstage there, and then you see him at the Palladium. One of the nicest dudes, whether it's music or wrestling.
Yeah.
Can't beat it.
Mayo's got the Stone Cold shirt on, but I wanted to make sure wrestling somehow came up in this because I know we're all fucking nerds.
Oh yeah, and Andy is like all into all of like my style of wrestler too. Like he loves his Arn Anderson. He loves Stan Hansen, Bruiser Brody, and Ox
Yeah.
Baker, like all the badasses.
Dude, his character with the facial hair always like
With the mustache, yeah. I
looks
mean,
so evil and
I-
menacing to like an old villain. It's so good.
it's funny because he was just selling old Andy Williams AEW shirts for like $20 off his Facebook leftovers. I just got it in the mail and I wore it when we played Brooklyn like 2 weeks ago. So yeah,
Man.
shout out to Andy Williams.
I would have liked to had one of those OG Butcher the Blade and the Bunny, like when they had all three of their shit on the shirt. I kind of wanted one of those.
Yeah, I never got one of them.
Yeah, that'd been cool. I don't even are Blade and Bunny even with AEW anymore?
I know the Blade is. I don't know about the Bunny. I haven't been following, to be honest, ever since football came back on. I haven't been following wrestling. So it's like that every year, Monday Night Football comes back on. I tune out from wrestling. But I did
Sure.
just watch Saturday Night Main Event last night. So we're going to meet Rhea Ripley and what is it, next weekend?
Oh yeah,
Oh, that's great.
Nice.
We're going to throw her some merch. So we'll see what happens.
Rob's coming to Boston next week, so I think it's the day before there's a meet and greet. So we're going. I might have
Throw
a car. Who knows?
T-shirt, hoodie. See what happens.
Nice.
R.I.P. John Cena's career, last Boston show. We got spoiled with the best metalcore and the best wrestler.
The best wrestler. I mean, he is John Cena. So
He's no taker, but he's good. All right.
So, you know what? I normally close these out with like Mount Rushmore of albums, but considering how we got three people here, that's a lot of albums and bands. Here's a more fun and maybe a little bit more relative one. Everybody name off your favorite pro wrestler. And yeah, you got to pick one. Let's go.
Jericho. Fucking Jericho.
That's a solid choice, even though he looks like a dried turkey now.
You can't hold the older days against any of the wrestlers. man.
Nah, like the utmost respect for Jericho.
And dried turkeys.
Yeah. Perfect season for dried turkeys, right?
Right.
Undertaker's my all-time favorite wrestler.
Hell yeah.
I mean, I've been a wrestling fan since I was, I don't know, since I can remember, 7, 8 years old. I grew up going to the Civic Center in Springfield, all this stuff, watching WCW, Attitude Era, this and that. Long story short,
Yeah.
my all-time favorite, Randy Orton.
Okay.
Just son of a son, like Randy Orton, straight up. Randy Orton.
Plus, he canonically kills all legends, so I guess yours is the right answer.
Exactly. You know, I mean, I've always liked him. I finally ended up meeting him 2018 in New Orleans at WWE Access. Great guy. So Randy Orton.
Hell yeah. All solid picks. I almost I had one in mind, and then I switched it while I was listening. I was like, you know what? Yeah, Taker's probably my number one favorite too. It's just been consistent since I was a kid.
Same. It's just I agree, dude. And I even when we were talking about like you said Art Anderson and like the American badass guy, that guy was just so hot. It was like I don't know, Big Evil, dude. He was awesome.
It's like yeah, New Jack's pretty sick, but did he come out to Kid Rock?
Is it good to come out to Kid Rock nowadays? I mean,
Sorry.
depends. Yeah, it depends what era's lens you're looking at this through. But Limp Bizkit, Limp Bizkit,
True. Yeah.
Undertaker.
That's all right. We're good with that.
We cover break stuff live in our set occasionally, so
Nice.
yeah, it gets a good reaction. Right? Whatever. R.I.P. Sam Rivers.
Oh yeah, for sure. Also for on the record, my close second was going to be Stan Hansen, but you know, he didn't have the character work that Taker has put in over the years. Just a lot of ass beating.
There's so many to choose from. Like favorite wrestler,
I put Vader up there too, but
Big Man Vader time.
I mean, I'd love to say like Kenny Omega or like AJ Styles, but like their early parts of their career were just so like eh. And there's guys who just were on fire like their whole time.
Dude, I mean, you can't knock the Hardy Boys. Jeff Hardy, dude.
I just saw them in Mass versus the Dudleys for the final match.
Oh, you went to that TNA?
Yeah.
Oh no shit! I didn't
saw
know that.
Jeff miss entirely and just slam through the table. But,
That's cool. Yeah, against the Dudley Boys. Yeah,
I love the fucking Dudley Boys. God,
Spike Dudley.
that Bully Ray, that was such a great character for the end of his career.
That was a
it
good time
was.
like wrestling, man.
It's like we'll have to do this again, and it'll be focused just on pro wrestling.
Dude, there's so many. I feel like the more that I'm in, like metal is its own community, but there's so many metalheads and wrestling fans that intertwine, which is super cool. We played Queens, and there was a dude. He plays for Cryptopsy or whatever. He knows Keith from Legia, but he plays bass for them. He had a Rhea Ripley shirt on. I'm like, yo, a nice shirt. And he goes, oh, I'm the one that knows Keith. I'm like, no shit. And we got to talk about wrestling. It was crazy, you know?
Oh yeah. Yeah, the overlap is crazy.
It's cool to see, though, you know?
But how many people also like to talk about trains? Is there that layer of overlap between the three? I mean,
God.
Hey, Chris.
Chris, really?
gotta end it on a controversial note.
You want to throw dinosaurs in there too? I mean, God.
Dinosaurs on trains. Best conductors ever for a train? Dinosaurs.
Oh, good Lord. All right. Well, before we sign off here, guys, I'll give everybody the platform to go ahead and do a plug, shout out, whatever.
Chris, you go first this time.
Amp Guru Profiles. You'll probably find links to it all over Rigs of Death Metal for various videos I'm hashtagged in, but buy my shit. Sound good because you bought my shit.
Yep. Link will be in the description for sure. Mike and Mayo, what's up, man?
Our band page is at Deceptions Official. You can check that one out. I'm sure you can put that link in there as well.
Mm-hmm.
Personal profile is Fixed Roof Coupe. As much as I am a guitar guy, I'd say just a little bit more. I'm a gearhead, so I got Corvettes and hot rods and stuff. So if you like metal and hot rods, you can hit me up on that, and I do all that kind of stuff. I got a YouTube channel as well called Fixed Roof Coupe. Haven't posted in there in a while with the back, but got some hot rod builds and some motor builds and some welding and building and that kind of stuff on there too. So
nice.
Thanks for having me. Thanks.
Absolutely. Mike?
You can find me on Instagram. Mike's Kicking It, MikeskickInit, guitar stuff. I also post masks and a bunch of gore horror stuff and the guitars and stuff. You can check out a full length Deceptions. It's called Conflict. Just came out on Halloween. Deceptions official on Instagram. That's about it.
Sick. I will may have to hit you all up later, but I will include links for everything in the description down below for all y'all watching at home on the YouTube. Want to thank all my guests here. This has been a lot of fun. And yeah, thank you guys for watching. We will see you next time. Peace.